Greetings, fellow Rotarians and guests. My name is Joe Young, and it's my honor to serve as the 2020-2021 President of the Rotary Club of Columbus. Founded in 1915 with our first meeting in February of 1916, our club is one of the oldest and largest within Rotary International. Our membership includes a diverse set of leaders within business, city government, military affairs, healthcare, education, arts and culture, social services, and ministry, all sharing a common desire to improve our community and have a positive impact on the world around us.
On behalf of me, my dad, and the rest of our family, we would like to thank you for all the hard work you've been doing to keep our community strong for these past few months. My dad is honored and lucky to work alongside you as club president. Now let's get to work.
Whoa!
Very good.
Whoa!
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't know.
23rd meeting of the Rotary Club of Columbus. Katie was so excited to be able to do that. You can tell she's a Springer kid, so she's like, look at me, look at me. So, but you will join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It's now my honor to call on Cedric Hill II to do today's invocation in accordance to his faith tradition.
Let's pray. God, we thank you for our time together this afternoon. Thank you for the program that we have put together. Everyone that's in attendance, pray that the program runs smoothly. Thank you for our lunch and those that are serving us this afternoon. And I pray that we take this opportunity to be served to turn around and find a way to serve somebody else this upcoming week. We love you. In Jesus' name, amen. Don't forget the cans.
As you guys take your seats, we have very, very special guests with us today. Both Ralph and Jeannie Puckett are here with us today. And I know you guys have been quite busy over the past several months. It has been so fun for our club and our community to celebrate right alongside you this incredible honor of receiving the Medal of Honor. And we've been thinking about ways that we can appropriately honor that incredible recognition. And the best thing that we came up with, and we think that you will approve, is, as you well know, for many years, our club has acknowledged and recognized a soldier each week, an active duty soldier from Fort Benning. And we felt it would be most appropriate that going forward, and the board agreed this month in a unanimous vote, that we would rename our weekly soldier recognition the Ralph Puckett Soldier of the Week. And we thank you for your service and legacy. All right, enough of that fuss, right? No more fuss over that. But it's my pleasure to call on Dick Nurnberg to introduce today's Ralph Puckett Soldier of the Week.
What an honor to be able to introduce the first, and you'll always be the first, Ralph Puckett Soldier of the Week. Sergeant, soon to be Staff Sergeant, he gets promoted next Friday. Reeves is a military policeman. He is a squad leader with the military police at Fort Benning. He's in charge of the guys that stop you, or the women that stop you on the road, all report to him. And so, but he can't fix anything. He is originally from Savannah, not far away. He and his wife are from Savannah. He has been in the Army 5 years. He joined the Army in order to put his wife through school. and she will graduate next year from nursing school. In the 5 years, he was at Fort Riley, Kansas. He deployed to Afghanistan. He was a team leader with a personal security detail for General Garrett, who is now the Forces Commander. And he's been here at Fort Benning for almost 3 years. And he will be leaving in August to go to Fort Stewart, right near home, which means you're going to have to visit all your relatives and everything like that. Sergeant Reeves, on behalf of all of our members, I want to thank you for your service. I want to congratulate you and your fellow soldiers at Fort Benning, and thank you for all you do for us. And we have a few things for you. We have a challenge coin, so you know what to do with that. You can't be caught without it. We have a passport to the arts for you and your wife. Better be your wife. 2 tickets each to the River Center for the Performing Arts, the Columbus Symphony Orchestra, Columbus State University Theater Department, the Springer Opera House, and the paid-for attractions at the National Infantry Museum. So you can take this, and we're going to tell her you got it, so she's going to know. So thank you very much for your service and for all you do for us.
Thank you, everyone. It's been an honor.
Sergeant Reeves, on behalf of our club, I too want to extend our gratitude to you for your service and sacrifice for our country. You honor us with your presence, and we welcome you to join us again to be our guest at any time in the future. Thanks again. It's now my pleasure to call on past President Michael Silverstein to recognize our most recent Paul Harris Fellow.
President Joe and fellow Rotarians, it's certainly a real honor to be up here today. And today would not have been possible without the extreme generosity of one of our fellow Rotarians who made an anonymous donation that allowed us to recognize 6 new Paul Harris Fellows, 5 of which we have recognized over the last several weeks. And today we recognize the 6th Paul Harris Fellow as a result of the generosity and the service above self that this individual commits to every day. And today's recipient is truly an individual who exemplifies service above self, given her commitment to her ministry and to her congregants and to her activities within our community that include sponsoring Boxwood soccer teams, Path to Shine mentoring at Boxwood Recreation Center, as well as being a partner in education with Brewer Elementary. It's my honor to call up the rector of the St. Thomas Episcopal Church, our fellow Rotarian, Grace Burton Edwards, to receive her Paul Harris Fellow certificate and pin. Grace joins a long list of fellow Rotarians throughout the world who truly embody service above self, and we are so pleased to recognize her and include her in a group that she so well deserves. Thank you. Please.
Just a word of thanks to this generous individual. It could be anyone in this room because this room is full of generous and visionary individuals. I think this is so emblematic of what it means to be part of this Rotary Club, because I think we all receive so much more from it than we give in terms of what we receive by being part of this group that does so much good in the community. And we're able to do that because we are able to do so much more together than we can do individually. And so I'm blessed by my association with this club. I thank you all for the work that you do to make this community stronger and better. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity to join this wonderful fellowship. Thank you.
It's now my pleasure to call on Cedric Hill, that's going to be introducing our newest member.
President Joe, I'm sorry.
Pretty close. Pretty close.
Whoa. in the sentiments of past President Michael Silverstein. It gives me great honor to stand before you to introduce a new individual, a new member to our club. Louise Hurlis is the Executive Director for our local Habitat for Humanity organization here. Many of you may not know it, but Habitat for Humanity has a retail store. That's a commercial up on River Road that actually sells products that are associated with home building right here in our community. Louise has been with Habitat for Humanity for 23 years, serving literally around the country on many mission trips and providing housing and homes for people throughout not just the world, but the nation, not just the nation, but the world itself. She's been in Columbus for about 3 years. I think we met actually on a march that was held in the city for people of less fortune. And at that time, I got a chance to see that the heart of this person was indicative of what the motto of Rotary is. So to you, Louise, I present you with a Rotary pin and your Rotary package and your badge. And at this point, if you all would join me in welcoming Louise to our club.
Thank you, Cedric, for the nice welcome. I really get engrossed in my work, so I look forward to branching out and meeting more of you through activities with Rotary, and I look forward to it. Thank you.
Louise, we're excited to have you as a new member to our club. As you know from visiting with us several times before, we're club number 200 out of over 35,000 clubs worldwide. We've got over 105 years of service in this community, a tremendous legacy that we're glad that you'll be joining us to continue. So thanks again for being with us. Several announcements. RSVPs for Fort Benning Day are now closed, but we've got a good group that's going to be going down this Friday. Buses will be out front of the Trade Center at 9 o'clock on Friday morning. I've mentioned before there's a chamber breakfast that morning that many of you may be attending. If you're at the breakfast, you know, if the general gets long-winded, or if I've given my instructions to just stand up and walk out at 9 o'clock. So anybody else that's in the room, you're welcome to do the same. That'll be good because we want to make sure that we're at a Ranger graduation in time for the demonstration that's going to be there. They're requesting, Fort Benning has requested that, of course, anybody that's in attendance needs to be vaccinated or have a negative COVID test within 72 hours. So that would have been 9 o'clock yesterday. So if you've not been vaccinated and you're planning to go to Fort Benning, you need to go get a COVID test, right now, so that otherwise Mike's kicking you off the bus. They also requesting that we have masks for the graduation, just the graduation ceremony. We're going to be intermixed with a lot of Ranger families, and so they want that, but then, we won't have to wear masks the rest of the day, so just have a mask in your pocket for that. We've got Children's Fund application process is underway. If you're aware of an agency that could benefit from these grants that we give out each year, please contact either Julie or Rebecca Rothnicks to let them know who would be a worthwhile applicant for that. And the deadline for that is July the 12th. There's no Wednesday program next week, but I hope to see all of you guys back here on July the 7th, where we'll have our Changing of the Guard program. And also, good announcement. So Jim's here to take member photographs in the back. Those of you that have had photographs done in the past, but maybe they're outdated, or you just feel particularly good about how your hair looks today or whatever, head on over there. Jim can mix and match. He maybe do some photoshopping for you if you want. But please, everybody, go ahead and go back to the back corner to make sure that we've got a good photo for you for our directory coming up. The head table today, we've got Cedric Hill II that brought us the invocation. I'm going to call on Marquette McKnight to introduce today's program.
Thank you, President Joe. I've had the great opportunity over the last couple of years at Rotary Introductions to introduce young leaders in our community who've been a vital part of our community's success, and today is another one of those extraordinary young leaders. Ben MacMinn is the director of StartUP Columbus, and if you don't know what StartUP Columbus is, I'm going to leave the explanation of StartUP Columbus for Ben to tell you about when he talks. Ben received his undergraduate degree from LaGrange College and his master's degree from Liberty University in executive leadership. After receiving his undergraduate degree, Ben worked at the corporate office for Carmack Cinemas and then worked with Chick-fil-A for over 6 years, serving in various roles from a corporate grand opening trainer to being the area director for Bradley Park Drive and Columbus Park Crossing, where he oversaw all operations and the development of leadership teams. Along with his role as the director of StartUP Columbus, Ben is also on the board for the Columbus Ballet, the House of Heroes, is the program chair for our Rotary Club, although he did not select himself to speak today. That was apparently Joe Young. And he also is on the chairs Biz Pitch Columbus. He has served as a judge for the Columbus State University Business Plan Competition, InVenture's Shark Tank, and the Ledger Inquirer Page One Awards. Ben is also a talented entrepreneur himself, as a very, very productive woodworker with MacMinn Builds. Ben and his wife, Kelsey, have been in Columbus their entire lives and have 2 children, River and Brannon. Full disclosure, and one I'm happy to tell you about, but I always claim proudly that Ben is my nephew. And while I'm a huge proponent of him, his amazing success as a strategic leader, a dedicated community volunteer, and his development in business and leadership, and his incredible work ethic is all his own. Please give a warm Rotary welcome to Ben MacMinn.
Thank you, Marquette, and that's why I had you introduce me. Such an incredible job. Thank you. And a piece of advice for everybody, if you are interested in going to woodworking, now is not the time to do that. It is very expensive to get into woodworking right now. And also, as Marquette mentioned, I am the program chair for the Rotary Club this year. However, President Joe did ask me to speak today, so I want to thank you for your leadership, for this opportunity for me, not only to me individually over the past year, but for our entire club over the past year. So thank you so much for that. All right, and I have a presentation to help keep me on track to talk a little bit about StartUP Columbus. So thank you all for having me. Rotary has been an incredible opportunity for me over the past couple of years, and having the opportunity to speak here today is a privilege and an honor, and I'm excited to get to do so. And I did exactly what I told you I wouldn't do. So who are we? StartUP Columbus, we are an entrepreneur support organization that functions under the Columbus Chamber, and we were formulated out of the vision of Columbus 2025, which we'll talk a little bit about. But our mission at StartUP Columbus is to cultivate a thriving entrepreneurial ecosystem in the greater Columbus area. We want to do this because entrepreneurs need a support system, and we believe that we can help be a part of that. And our vision is for business ownership to be a possibility for all residents in our region, regardless of race, gender, or social class. We believe that with the work that we're doing and the work that other organizations here supporting entrepreneurs are doing in our community, that we're able to do so. So why are we doing this? In 2015, a group of public, private, and nonprofit leaders, several of which are in this room, came together to launch a comprehensive effort to raise levels of prosperity and decrease levels of poverty in Columbus. These leaders decided to hire Market Street Services, and they performed a competitive assessment of our region, which is now known as the Regional Prosperity Initiative. In this study, there are 5 areas that we found that we really needed to work on to increase that prosperity in our region. And those are cohesive image and identity, talented, educated people, targeted economic growth, vibrant and connected places, and on enterprising culture. If these sound familiar to you, it is because that is what has become known as the 5 action areas of Columbus 2025. And StartUP Columbus falls under the enterprising culture action area. So, as you all know, Columbus, Georgia would not be where it's at today without entrepreneurship. You could probably look at every single table in here and see examples of incredible entrepreneurs, incredible businesses that were started here in our region. And so why do we need something like StartUP Columbus when we already have the successful entrepreneurs and the people in the community already doing this? Well, when they did the study, they found these, along with other statistics, that 4.8% of our jobs are held by self-employed workers, and that was compared to 6.1% across the state of Georgia and 6.6% nationally. We also had the lowest percentage of total employment in firms less than 5 years comparatively. And when I say comparatively, this study did a comparison of 10 communities, and that means we ranked 10th among those 10 communities that were very similar to ours, so Chattanooga, Greenville, communities like this. We also had the second lowest numbers of per capita business loans comparatively across those 10 businesses. So, in short, our statistics, it looks like we have a lot of work to do. As I mentioned, we have successful entrepreneurs, but where we failed and where we did not do as good as these other communities is the amount of resources we have to offer. We have SBDC, we have SCORE, we have other organizations, and they do an incredible job, and we work closely with them. However, we're not doing as much as these other communities. Some things include business incubators, networking events focused on entrepreneurship, more strategic mentorship programs. So StartUP Columbus was created to help address these needs. So how do we address these needs? By going to the next slide. All right. In June of 2018, StartUP Columbus opened its doors at 1006 Broadway. We were very fortunate due to a partnership with Columbus State University. They provided a space at 1006 Broadway, which is now the bookstore and was right next to the bookstore. And they allowed us to use that as kind of our center for StartUP Columbus. We were able to hold cohorts in here. We were able to mentor businesses, provide consultation. And during that year, the 2018 year, the first programming that we were able to offer was a 12-week boot camp. That after this boot camp, it was created by my predecessor and some CSU staff. At the end of this 12-week boot camp, there was a heavy focus on an investment opportunity and a pitch day, if you will. And so while we had some early success out of this 12-week program, we found that our problem wasn't getting investors to entrepreneurs. What our problem was, we did not have as much deal flow to get in front of the investors. So what we started to do, we started to pivot some of our ideas and our offerings. And in 2019, January 2019, we took that big pivot, that big shift, and we found this program called Co-Starters, which had less of an emphasis on pitching and getting investments for these entrepreneurs and more of a curriculum focused on developing entrepreneurs and developing ecosystems and cultures and communities for entrepreneurship. So, developing a culture. How do you develop a culture? That's a tricky thing. And how do we prepare individuals to run a business? So this program, it's a 10-week program that takes individuals with a business idea and gets them to business. Anybody that comes through here, some of the requirements you just have to have a business idea. You have to be willing to share it. So we don't we ask that they don't have NDAs signed in this, which is non-disclosure agreements. And they'd be willing to change their ideas and mold it along this 10-week program. It's facilitator-led, so we don't have a cohort or a classroom setting where people are in front of the classroom teaching. But you can see this table, it's kind of hard to see in the background. But this table is one of our cohorts, one of our actual cohorts. And the great thing is you don't know who is teaching this and who is the student. It is really cohort-based. It's very accessible to everybody. And so in this particular cohort, we had people ranging from robotics to photography to finance, accounting, and the arts. It was a very diverse cohort, and all of our cohorts from them have been very diverse. It's been a really great program. I really enjoyed being able to be an administrator part of this, and this is something that we are able to grow in the Columbus region. Co-Starters is out of Chattanooga. The curriculum was created out of Chattanooga, and they had these different variations to help on rural areas as well as smaller Kickstarter programs as well as youth individual programs. So we have lots of opportunity to grow with Co-Starters, and we thought it was a great first step for the programming for StartUP Columbus. This program, even though it is more accessible, it does not miss any of the key points that you need for developing a business. When you think about creating a business plan, you think about that typical 30 or 40-page business plan. But somebody that just has an idea, that's going to scare them off. And so it's hard to see, but this is basically a one-page business plan that we go through in this 10-week program. We talk about things from customer acquisition to distribution to how do I create revenue, what's my bottom line, all the important things you need to know about business in a very accessible way. So we launched Co-Starters program in May of 2019 was our first. And to date, we've run 6 different cohorts, and that includes the time frame of the pandemic where it was a lot more difficult. But we've run 6 programs and have already graduated 50 potential businesses out of that program. Some of them have made pivots and they're doing other businesses. Some of them got to the end of the program and realized I should not be in business at all, which is also a success because we don't want them to invest into a business that's not a good idea. So those are success stories for us as well. We're currently running a cohort. We have our 3rd meeting tonight at 6 p.m., and this is our largest cohort, and we have about 14 participants in that. I'm sure that is coming off of a pandemic. Everybody is ready to get out and do things, including starting a business and working through their business ideas. So one of the next steps is, as we developed our programs and our offerings, we realized that we also need to start getting into the 21st century. It's 2021 now, and in 2019 and 2020, we started looking at, okay, how do we do this digitally? How do we support entrepreneurs on a digital front? And we found this program called StartUP Space, which is a nationally known program that has a lot of things that we thought were really important for our community. Basically, it's creating a digital hub for entrepreneurs in our community. So it has things that I'm going to break down a little bit of each of them: resource compass, cohort management, co-working management, etc. So one of the things entrepreneurs struggle with a lot is they're young, they're small, they don't know who to connect with, they don't have money to connect with people. So if I'm looking at somebody to do my taxes for my business that I just started a year ago, and I do a Google search on taxes for small business, you're going to get whoever's spending the most money on tax dollars. That doesn't exactly help entrepreneurs, but with the Resource Compass, what it is we are able to put different resources in our community, local resources, that have already reached out to me and said, I want to support entrepreneurs that are starting their business and need that early stage support. Now, that doesn't mean they do it for free, but there's consultation that they provide. They may do a discounted rate if they go through our programming. Those resources are in this app. It's an app as well as a dashboard on the computer. We also have cohort management, which helps us with receiving applications and managing the teams that go through. Co-working management, which is a lot of support for the space that we have, which I'm going to show you a few slides and talk about that next, as well as our mentorship and business advising. Part of our program and our offering is mentoring entrepreneurs, mentoring individuals in the community, and we're always looking for more mentors, so a little bit of a plug if you guys are interested in mentoring entrepreneurs, as well as event management and a CRM for us. So it was a great digital platform for us to get moving forward into the digital programming. So a business incubator, that is one of our biggest undertakings so far for StartUP Columbus since our inception. So a lot of people in our community are not familiar with what the terms business incubator is, or incubator. They kind of think of chickens and eggs, but what a business incubator is, it's a company that helps new and startup companies to develop by providing services such as management training or office space. I did not make up that definition. I pulled that off of Google somewhere, but it was kind of the best definition I found. So we are that organization that supports others, and we do that through physical space now and our programming. So again, we were very fortunate to have a good partnership with Columbus State University, and they said, we have this space in the bottom of Frank Brown Hall, which is the old Ledger and Choir building. It's about 4,000 square feet of lead paint, mildew, and no lighting. And so we looked in the space, and we said that we feel like we could do that. So we signed a memorandum of understanding that we could do some renovations on the space, and they would let us utilize that space. So we're very appreciative of that. And we started, the construction actually started in January of 2020, and we were hoping to finish and be in there a little bit earlier, but the construction actually ended in May of 2020. With COVID, we actually did not officially open our doors until November of last year. However, this space, it's about 4,000 square feet. It's fully furnished. We have incredible internet in there. We have a streaming booth in there, conference room, and a common area and event space. The way this works is Startup Columbus is in there. It's Startup Columbus Incubator, and we have different businesses that come in and they work out of this space. They make sure I don't get ahead of myself. I was about to, but that's all right. We have 9 businesses currently that are being incubated in there. So the requirements for these businesses is they have to go through some of our training, some of our programming, and then they have to be in our space a certain amount of hours, and they get the space absolutely free. There's no cost to them, but we help them. We say it's kind of like holding their hands. We take them through mentorship programs. We take them through networking events. We offer networking events, and all these different things to really help them get their business up and off the ground. So I'm going to show you a few pictures of the space, of what it looks like now. I don't have any before pictures, although it would have been incredible to have some because it really was a basement space. So this is the main area right here. You can see that there's tables set up as kind of co-working desk. The great thing is this space doubles as an event space. So we can move everything out of the way. All those tables are on wheels, so we move them out of the way, and we have this event space here. And this is for, we have different opportunities like panels that are in here, as well as pitch competitions. We're able to do that in this space by just moving those tables out of the way. We also have a conference room that is accessible to everybody in the space. And so if somebody needs to meet and have a little more private setting, maybe they're meeting with an attorney or they're meeting with their board of directors, they're able to reserve this space and use this space as well. We also have technology in here, TVs and hookups for everything. This is one of the offices in there. We do have some private offices. We have 4 private offices in the space. So if you have a few more employees, so this is one of the businesses that we're incubating named Cleansep, and they're a medical research company. This picture does not show it, but he has 5 people that work out of that little office. And it is amazing to see how they have transformed such a small space in his early startup years, his first year as a startup business, and really take the resources that are provided to him and grow his business. And it's been incredible to watch him grow and develop in even such a small space. So 5 people working out of there. So think about that the next time you're sitting in your office. This next space, yep, of course, that's what happened, is my favorite space in the whole place. We have, before the pandemic, we were going to create this phone booth for a place to have private conversation. And then March of last year, everybody turned to Zoom. And I thought about it, and I was like, well, why don't we create a room that's a Zoom room? Basically, you can go in there and you can Zoom. And it's kind of molded and turned into a full streaming booth. So in this room, we have sound paneling along the walls. We have a microphone, a nice camera, a ring light up there. And what people are using this for is, yes, they're using it for Zoom, but it's for marketing their businesses. So many people are streaming right now. They want to get their face or their voice out there to talk about their business, creating videos. And so people are really utilizing this resource. And it's really fun. I utilize it as well and create some content and podcasts for Startup Columbus as well. So it's a really good resource in the space as well. So with the physical space, this is how I got ahead of myself. Even though we have the physical space, programming comes along with it. So the benefits of this programming is you get free workspace for the individuals that are in there. It's a structured environment. There's free development programs. We do events that people can come to at no cost to them. We had a business roundtable in there last year where Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan was in. And so we have lots of opportunities in the space. It's a network of like-minded entrepreneurs, and if you're an entrepreneur, one of the things you probably realize and know is so important is to surround yourself with other people that think like you, that work like you, and that understands the struggles you have. It's different when you're the only person that owns your business and you take the responsibility on yourself. And what I've realized is having these people just in the same space has done amazing things for them. One thing I learned about is I had 2 businesses that were working, and they got together and started having conversation. One of them was looking to hire an employee. The other person didn't know how to do it, because hiring an employee is actually very difficult when you look at the paperwork and the taxes and everything. And so the other business started helping them and said, this is what I've done, this is the things I've gone through. The same thing happened with someone trying to acquire real estate. All of those conversations happened without me and without Startup Columbus at all. They are in the space, they're working with like-minded entrepreneurs, and they're able to grow and develop from just being in that space. And then the last piece is a direct access to community resources. One of the things that is so beneficial, because we're a organization organization of the chamber, we have access to resources for people that will support these entrepreneurs, and just being in that space, they're able to get those connections and get those resources, and it's really beneficial for them to help grow. So I was talking a little bit about the criteria of what it needs, what you need to be in there. One of the prerequisites is going through our Co-Starters program. You actually have to attend that and graduate that. That helps us get a sense of where you're at on your business, as well as for us to know, okay, I'm invested in this business idea. Co-Starters does have a cost associated with it, and even though it's a very low cost, we know that you've already invested some. You're spending the time on your business, you're spending money on your business, which are both critical and important things to create a business and to have it grow. So that is one of the prerequisites. You have to be in there a certain amount of hours per week. Because we have limited resources in there, it's only 4,000 square feet, we want to make sure everybody's taking advantage of that. They have to have their business license applied for within 6 months of being in the space. They have to meet with the director. They have to meet with me once a month to kind of report their numbers and their finances, so we can have that to show that we are helping develop these businesses, as well as they have to attend a certain amount of events per month that StartUP Columbus hosts. So, as you can imagine, this program we launched in November of 2020, and there were a lot of pieces that were tricky when COVID came up. We had to implement a lot of different practices. However, we have been able to do so successfully. We launched a pilot program in November of last year and are in our full program now. The 9 businesses that are being incubated right now, it's a vast range from cybersecurity to the medical research I was talking about, to fintech companies, to nonprofits. We have all these different organizations that are in here, in our space, and it's amazing to see them grow and work together, even though they're in different industries altogether. So one of the next big things for us, because we always are thinking, what's next? There's always more to be done, and there's so much support that is out there in the world for entrepreneurs, and we want to make sure that we're trying to capture as much of that as possible. So, last year, Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan put out, as a part of a Partnership for Inclusive Innovation, a call to create an entrepreneurship accreditation program to be across the whole state of Georgia. And Augusta, Georgia, the Make Startups or the Clubhouse, they're an entrepreneur support organization like us. They created this program called the Mesh Network. And what it is, it's an entrepreneurial workforce training program that's industry recognized, has industry recognized credentialing. It's an accredited program across the state, and there are training outcomes that individuals that are a part of this and go through this programming have access to statewide capitals at the conclusion of it. We applied for this, and it was an extensive competitive application. We applied for it, and Columbus, Georgia, StartUP Columbus was selected as one of the 5 communities to participate in this, which is a great honor, and it's a great excitement to be a part of this. But it's going to be a lot of work. It's a 12-week training program, 12-week training program following a 9-month mentorship program that individuals will go through. And at the end of it, they had an accredited certificate of entrepreneurship that they will then have access to capital partners across the state and have people across the state also supporting their business through, they'll have QuickBooks that they can help manage and facilitate their costs and things like this. We're also working with some local partners to work through the programming with this. We don't have dates set on the calendar for when this will start, but it will be before the end of this year. We're planning on having 2 cohorts started. So we're working with partners and capital partners to make sure that this is a very successful program. So I wanted to give a couple examples of the businesses that we have supported that have some success stories and that have gone through our program we're really proud of. One is BRIDGEPATH CFO Solutions. This is Scott Sullivan. He actually graduated through our first cohort, and he's a certified public accountant and has started this business with this mindset of, I want to be able to support, and this is a short snippet, I want to be able to support those small businesses that can't afford a CFO. I want to act as that kind of interim CFO for them, as well as he does your standard CPA taxes, which is a source of revenue for him, along with other things. He's done really well. He's grown over the past 2 years. He is in Cowork Columbus, which is across the street from us, and he's done a really incredible job growing his name and his brand. The next one is Bijou Craft Kombucha. Suyun up here is on the top. It's Suyun and Dan are their husband and wife. Dan is an active duty military, so Suyun really runs the business. But they had this idea of creating kombucha. If you're not sure what kombucha is, basically it's fermented tea. It's a very popular drink, but we haven't done it in Columbus. And so they said, we want to do this, and we want to do it legally. That was the conversation she literally had in my office, was, hey, I'm making this and I'm selling it to friends. I don't want to get in trouble. And so she went through our CoStars programming, and by the end of it, she has opened this tap room, which is on 12th Street, or on the corner of 12th Street and 3rd Avenue, and their vision was never to have a tap room, was never to have kegs. They just wanted to be in distribution and bottling. However, their ideas pivoted along the way, as entrepreneurs do. They pivoted along the way, and they have done an incredible job growing their brand, marketing, and being successful out of this tap room, as well as distributing to some local retailers, local restaurants as well for their kombucha. It's also really good kombucha, and I am not a kombucha fan, so it's good. And then the last is Slumber Pod. So Lou Childs went through our program in 2018, I believe. If you're not familiar with Slumber Pod, basically it is a tent that's a blackout tent that goes over cribs and pack-and-plays for babies to help them sleep while on vacation. As you can see, they are here on Shark Tank. They went on Shark Tank a couple of years ago after going through StartUP Columbus. They landed a deal with Barbara. If you're not familiar with what Shark Tank is, it's a nationally known TV show, and there's international now. People are making caveats of it and breakoffs of it. But they landed a deal with Barbara off the show for $400,000 to support Slumber Pod. So they're a really incredible story. It's a really cool invention, and basically it started with an idea. They were on vacation, and the baby couldn't sleep, and they said, how can we fix this? Which is where most entrepreneurial ventures start, is how do we fix this problem? So it's an incredible story, and they're still here in our community, and they're still growing their business and doing an incredible job. So to conclude, building an ecosystem is tough. But we are not the only ones doing it. As I mentioned before, we had SCORE and SBDC that have been here for several years. They've been doing an incredible job, but we need more. StartUP Columbus is here now. We're supporting entrepreneurs in different ways that they are, but there's still more that's needed. Someone asked me the other day, what if another business incubator opens up? Well, we do have the Cunningham Center, and they're doing incredible work too, but we're a different part of that. If another incubator opened up across the street, that's a good thing. That's more support for our entrepreneurs, and we need to support our entrepreneurs in different ways. And for the future of StartUP Columbus, there's different pieces that are always falling into play. We're always looking to grow and to support entrepreneurs in different ways. But for entrepreneurs in here, you know that your business may look completely different in the next year or 2 years, and I think with the way COVID impacted us all, we can see that it might be completely upside down, doing something you never imagined. So we're always willing to pivot and find the best way to support entrepreneurs. And that's kind of how this MESH program has fallen in our lap. It was something that came across our plate. We thought that would be a great thing to support the organization or the entrepreneurs and businesses here. So we want to continue growing. We want the support from the community. And our biggest thing is we need entrepreneurs to know about us, to learn about us. Coming out to these type of presentations, I appreciate it, but I have a feeling most of you probably know an entrepreneur, someone looking to start a business. Having you all let them know about StartUP Columbus is so important. One of the things that we like to say is that we are the first stop shop, not a one-stop shop. What we like to see is people come into our door, have that initial conversation of what it is like to start a business, and I might refer you to different organizations. There's been plenty of people I've referred to SCORE. There's been plenty of people I've referred to the Small Business Development Center. There are plenty of resources out here. We want to help support those entrepreneurs, and we want to help them get the resources they need. So thank you all for having me. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity, and I am happy to answer any questions if we have time.
What questions?
How long can you stay in that incubation mode, or how do you decide who gets to be there and gets to move on?
Yeah, so the question is how long can you stay in the incubator, and how do we decide who gets to move on? I have monthly meetings with the individuals, the entrepreneurs. Well, let me start at the first question. There is a maximum amount of time of 18 months, and we break that up into 3 6-month terms. I'm having meetings with all these entrepreneurs on a monthly basis, and we're setting benchmarks. We're looking 6 months ahead. We're setting these benchmarks. We're saying these are the things that we want to accomplish over the next 3 months, next 6 months. Along the way, we're trying to make sure that they hit those benchmarks, and if they do, we will renew that contract, that MOU, for another 6 months. They can do that 2 times to have a total of 18 months. Now, sometimes those benchmarks may completely change. I have had one business that we're incubating that the business that they're in now was not at all what it was 6 months ago, and so they've completely pivoted their business idea, but that's okay. They're still growing. They're still trying to achieve growth in their business.
Other questions? I had a question. Is there a way for the city, I mean, obviously, we want tax-paying entities in the city to build the revenue base, but is there some source of repayment to StartUP Columbus from these businesses? Do you take like an equity position in the business? How does that work?
Yeah, so the question is there, in short, is there an opportunity that we take equity in these businesses? At this point, that is not our business model. We are, fortunate to be supported through private and public grants and opportunities. The Community Foundation has been an incredible partner for us as well. But at this point in our business or our organization, in our business model, equity is not what we are planning to take. There's some accelerator programs which we've started looking at. Should this be a part of what StartUP Columbus is? Should we implement an accelerator, which I can spend another 30 minutes talking about that, but I won't. And that might have a focus more on an equity investment for StartUP Columbus. However, that's not what we're doing right now. Thank you all so much. I appreciate it.
Well, Ben, we appreciate you so much. The opportunity to create enterprise and culture here in Columbus, certainly want to support you in that. And I just personally, I really, really appreciate the amazing job that you've done this past year, managing the program calendar, with being in and out of virtual meetings, working with speakers that some only wanted to speak in person, some refused to speak in person. Calendars getting shifted all over the place. It's always a tough job to manage the program calendar for Rotary, but you've done amazing, and we really, really appreciate you in that role. As you know, because you're here every week, we give a library book on behalf of our speakers, and so happy to have a library with your name in it, and appreciate you and all you continue to do for the community. Reminder to those joining online and everybody else in the room that's interested, we'll have a replay of today's program on our Facebook page, as well as a YouTube link going out from the office. If you're watching online and you're planning to be with us on July the 7th, we hope that you will, please do let us know so that we can make sure we've got enough tables set up and chairs for everybody. Hope that everybody that's here will come back July the 7th. That'll be a great day for the change of leadership. Appreciate the incredible year. Jim's motioning me, reminder, go get your pictures made in the back before you leave. I appreciate the support, the encouragement that all of you guys have given me throughout the year. I have some more remarks on the 7th of July, but it's really been an honor. Let's go to work.